What's up, everyone? I have not looked at this project since I completed it, which I'm pretty sure was like 3 months before I released it for some reason, and then I just sat there and didn't even release anything. So here we are. This is not the final version because I had to do a lot of hefty editing to make this thing work. Per my folder structure, this was actually a challenge that I did as part of a 30 days of music, and some of these things you've never heard. For example, oh, some more Stardew Valley stuff I never released. The point is, I was working on some stuff, and I guess this just falls under day 2. It appears this project is a huge mess. Anyhow, let's break this down lazily and inefficiently, just like I did last time. So I still haven't actually finished this game. I've only played this game for like 2 hours, but my sister really liked it, and that's why I remixed it. This was, I believe, the very intro song. I knew pretty early on that I wanted to use samples from every season, and since this one is from spring, I figured I would structure it like spring, summer, winter, whatever I can do to get all the seasons in here, even though I've only ever played spring myself. Here's what I found out after a lot of experimentation. I really liked this sample, and I really liked this chord structure. Suggests to me that something is kind of going on. There's a bit of like anticipation, which kind of feels how it feels when I'm farming in game, I suppose. The second sample I liked to use is from spring here. It's titled Big World Outside. So I just cut it down to this section here. Add that into our nice little loop that we've got. Now, what would an Oriya remix be without having drums sampled from the actual game? There are a ton of samples here that I never used. Or maybe I used all of them. Some of them I did have to adjust. You'll notice here I can transpose these. So that I could get them in key, because I thought it would sound really good. So those of you who are familiar with the game, it's very simple to just kind of stack these things on themselves and create a nice little beat. One thing you may notice is this is in 3/4 time, because the samples kind of worked that way. Oh, what is this? Looks like we have an audio track. I think I may have just pulled a sample straight out of the game. If I recall correctly, I think I edited this because I liked this section and wanted to keep that in there, but also wanted to keep the layering from the rest of it going. I wanted to try to introduce some extra things. I think this is from Fall, The Smell of Mushroom. My sister had sent me a few of these things. I don't even know if that's what it sounds like in the game, but I can play this on a keyboard. So just kind of layering this stuff all together, I get really interesting sounds, you know, especially when I'm using the bass to kind of reinforce what I'm hearing in my head. So I kind of structured the first half as like we're here in spring, we established that there's stuff happening that's kind of bringing us to fall and all that, and then taking us back into spring. And so then I wanted to add in other seasons like summer. And one of the main problems is that this is in 4/4 time, and the other one was in 3/4 time. How am I going to reconcile things that are working in different time signatures? Well, I will show you. How I created this summer theme here was, I was looking for something that was easy. And just the beginning of this summer theme was easy to kind of just use and put on a loop. Add in a chord. One thing that also really compelled me when my sister was playing it was the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. I really liked that section. And I believe the original song sounds a lot more like... which is not really going to work when you have a... This sounds great. I wanted to speed it up so it can kind of be like I'm breaking into a dance, especially after the glass breaks right here. To add in some other themes, I also really liked the Luau Festival, which I think is something that only happens in the summer, but once again, I'm clearly very ignorant of these things. Throw that in the final edit with a little bit of back and forth left and right ear action, and you can translate it into summer like this. To try to reintroduce the spring theme, I did a lot of work, and I was stuck on this for quite some time to pull it kind of back from summer into big world spring outside, but you can listen to that in the final mix. So winter was a little unusual. Like I usually try with these things, I wanted it to feel a certain way. And I was thinking that winter is kind of more reflective compared to the upbeat of summer. Spring is perhaps enjoyable, fall is a little calmer, but I wanted this to feel very different and kind of reflective. The first thing I did was actually used this sample. It's in reverse, so you're hearing actually in this section 2 samples that are reversed and 1 that is not. We've also got another part of Wind Can Be Still that I really liked. And then I guess this is the classic winter theme. Layering them together, you've got something as simple as... and then the final bit to add it all together. Finally, there's this bit from the Nocturne of Ice, which sounds really cool. For the astute ones among you, you guessed it. Here's where it actually comes from and what it sounds like. So layering that a bit, you've got... Finally, we have to take it all the way back home and fade it back into spring. To make this thing all work, because I have a limit of the number of tracks I can do this in, as you can tell, I had to create multiple different projects. My Ableton version only lets me use 8 tracks. Yes, I know. I didn't pay for like the huge big version or whatever. So as you can see, each of these are actually exported as their own tracks and then having to have been layered in. You may recognize. One other thing I really liked that I did during this track was I wanted to capture the experience of not only each season, but the experience of real life, where each season kind of fades into each other.